Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Jennifer Eubank, here live each Tuesday for Sun and Moon. Let me know if you're here. Do a little bit of adjusting there. We'll get started in just a few moments. Let me know if you're here. Doing some more spring cleaning this morning. And do some nice hip work. Clean out the cobwebs in the hips. Let me put a little bit more light on the subject. We have a few more moments. It's just about 10 o'clock. We'll see if anybody else is going to come in. Have a blanket for your practice today. We'll spend, the entire practice on the floor today. So it's good to have a blanket, maybe even two. Have one on the side. Let me know if you're here. Give a little shout out. And thank you for being here live. And if you can't be here live, thank you for visiting our archives. We've got a nice stash of videos in the Sun and Moon archives. Lots of different teachers teaching lots of different sequences and poses and breathing techniques. Thank you to Sun and Moon for having this for us. Good morning, Susan. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Have a blanket or two. We'll start in a seated position on the blanket. So you might want to have a second one nearby or a block, just in case. You never know. We'll take just a few more moments. And I thought we would start in a seated cobbler position. And we'll make it more yin-like, which means it'll be more butterfly-like. Because since it's our first pose, it might be pretty difficult to bring those feet pretty close to the body. So you can make for a more casual stance here. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Hello, hello. We're starting in a butterfly position, very similar to cobbler, a little bit looser than a cobbler. I'm on a blanket. And spend careful time connecting the feet, the soles of the feet, the heels and the balls of the feet. And connect them to one another and feel a good solid connection between your feet and the floor. And see how that can travel up into the legs and into your seat and your torso strength. And root the sits bones and the tailbone, making a little tripod in your seat. Lots of shapes here, triangles and diamonds, diamond shape with those legs. And take a few moments once you've built your structure to settle into that structure and release tension. You don't want too much tension. You need a little bit to hold the pose. But if you put too much tension into it, it will create more cobwebs in our joints, and we're trying to clean those cobwebs today. So we want to release those joints, the hips, the knees, the ankles, the shoulders. Maybe close your eyes and take a few cleansing breaths. Inhaling through the nose and then exhaling through the nose. But if you'd like to go a little further, you can exhale with the mouth. Maybe do a few more of those cleansing breaths and see how that can clarify your position and help you let go of even more tension in the hips. And as we let go of tension in the hips, the knees start to relax and come down. And normally I would have you put a block under each knee, but I want to do some movement in this position. And so blocks under the knees um, might break your flow. So if you'd like, you could put a block under each knee. But I feel like maybe that would impede your sense of progression. And we'll start to do some hip rolls in our butterfly position and take our body in the same direction, maybe 10 or 15 times. Press the feet into one another, the feet into the floor, your sits bones into your blanket, your hands on your legs, all these things giving you leverage to increase the range of your motion. And maybe take a few cleansing breaths with the mouth exhale here. And then as you're ready, make your circles a little smaller, find a good pause point, and then switch directions. And go a little small and conservative the first few rounds as you switch, easing into this transition and finding a good solid foundation for the flow in this direction. Feet are there for you. Sits bones are there for you. Hands and breath are there for you, all giving you foundation and freedom to flow. And let's do a few more rotations. Deep breathing, deep, smooth inhales, long, smooth exhales. And then we'll make our way back to the center, kind of corkscrew your hip circles in until you finally land back in the center. And take a couple of breaths here. And notice if your butterfly position has changed a little bit from that movement. Have your hips settled and let the knees come down a little bit further. And again, you always have the option of putting blocks under your knees anytime in this position. And then from here, let's do some cats and cows. So round your spine towards the front, towards the feet, and then round your spine away from the feet, back and forth. Inhaling with one position and exhaling with another. Feet giving you leverage, connection to the earth with that tripod in your bum, the sits bones in your tailbone, that's giving you leverage. Hands stationary on the legs, giving you some leverage. Let's do a few more. And next time you find yourself in the front in your cow position, linger here. And then from here, do a few hip rolls. Go in one direction, maintaining that cow position, and then switch directions. A little different feeling. You're way in the front, and there's an arch in your spine. And then come back to center, and then straighten back up in your position. And then let's bring the hands out to the sides. And let's bring them up and down a few times. Do a few peacocks. And next time the arms are both up, bring just one hand down and root it into the floor. And lengthen your spine and curve over towards that hand. Bringing our spine back into neutral shape after that cow shape. We'll come back to center and we'll do a crescent moon on the other side. Take your time forming the shape, easing into it, and come back as you're ready. Hands back on the knees. And then we'll do that same thing in a cat position. So round your spine away from the feet, and then do a few hip circles in one direction. And then whenever you're ready, switch directions. So you're still maintaining that cat position, that rounded spine, as you do some gentle circular work with the hip joints. Come back to center. Linger in your cat shape for a couple of breaths. Maybe take it even further. And then as you're ready, press into your foundation points. Lift your heart. Now you're back to your butterfly position. And take a few breaths here. Hands out to the sides when you're ready. And we'll do a few peacocks. Rooting as you rise. And whenever you're ready, we can do another crescent moon on each side. Breathing into it, flowing into the shape, flowing back out of it, making your way to the other side. The flow being the breath and the gradual furthering the elements of your pose. Come back to center as you're ready. Take a few breaths. Maybe change your pose a little bit. Adjust it. And we'll take a few quiet moments resting in our butterfly position. And if stillness is difficult for you, find that flow with your breath. Pay attention to the changes that the breaths make in your body. And then as you're ready, let's go into a hip leveler position. So from your cobbler or butterfly, it's called butterfly in yin when it's a little looser like this. Let's bring that back leg, or your right leg to the back. Your right leg goes to the back, and your left leg stays in the front. And as your left leg, as you settle in, see if you can bring the left foot closer to your right thigh. And it might take you a few moments to kind of settle into this because your hips probably feel a little off center. So adjust yourself with your blanket as much as you can, maybe even kind of lift those ribs away from the hips to help you level them. It's a great pose, hip leveler. It's a great way to even out and balance your hips. And then we can put some flow into this. So let's do some gentle twisting. As you're ready, find a lift in your spine and your heart with an inhale, and then twist right and bring left hand in front, right hand in back. And then go back to the other side. And we'll go back and forth, inhaling with one motion and exhaling with another. And it doesn't really matter where you put the hands as you twist from side to side. Maybe they're coming on the floor. Maybe they're actually settling on your legs and the blanket. But it's nice to have the hands land somewhere because that can give you a sense of foundation, a sense of structure to your flow. So we're not all willy-nilly in our flow. Inhaling with one position and exhaling with another. And see if your twisting is getting a little deeper, a little further. And next time we've twisted towards the back leg, let's stay there a few breaths. Maybe put the right hand on the right foot and take the left hand to that right leg and kind of use that leverage to twist a little further. Breathe through it. And then we'll go to the other side. Use an inhale in the center to find that lift with the heart and the torso to give you the space to freely twist to the other side. Find landing points for your hands. Don't push yourself to go further than your hips will allow. Maybe just kind of gently go further and further, but not drastically and too quickly. Bring yourself back to the center as you're ready. And just notice if anything about this pose has leveled a little bit more. Take a few more breaths here. And then we'll bring that back leg to the front. And as you bring the back leg to the front, you might want to stretch them both out and shake them out a little before you return to a butterfly pose. I'm going to bring my blanket up a little closer, further away from my wall. So we return to our butterfly pose, and then we'll switch. So now the left leg comes to the back. Both knees are bent, left leg in the back, right leg in the front. Hook up the right foot as best you can with the left thigh there. Hands out to the sides. Take your time snuggling into your stability. Lift the ribs away from the hips to help the hips settle. And this side might feel different for you, maybe better, maybe a little harder to find. And then as you're ready, we'll start to do some light twisting. So use an inhale to find that lift in your heart, and exhale, twist to the left and then to the right. And we'll go back and forth using the breath to guide the rhythm, landing the hands somewhere, maybe the floor, maybe the legs, maybe one of each. Maybe it changes. A few more rounds. And next time you find yourself twisting towards the left, towards that back leg, let's settle in for a few breaths. And use the leverage, your connection to the earth, your hands to your body and the earth. And maybe go a little further. But be careful that you don't go too far. Sometimes we use those leverage points and take ourselves a little further than we should go. So honor that limitation. And then we'll twist to the other side. Find the structure. Settle into it. Perhaps go a little further. You decide. And when you're ready, lift the heart to come back to the center and settle back into the first position and see if it's changed at all for you. When I first did this pose, I was like, this one's not for me. And now it's one of my favorite poses. It's just a wonderful way to even out and balance those hips. Bring some good space and clear out the cobwebs in those hips, which can cause problems for the back, the knees, to name just a few areas. Come on back to the front as you're ready. And as you come back to the front again, you might want to stretch out the legs and shake them out. And then let's do this. Let's bring one foot in to the body. It doesn't matter which. And again, if you like, you can put a block under the knee for some support. And we'll do some sole tapping. So take the palm, the inside of your hand, and start to tap the bottom of your foot. The heel, the arch, the inside of the arch, the outside of the arch, all around. Go up to the balls of the feet, up to the toes. And keep that breath flowing as you do this. This brings lots of energy and circulation by way of the thousands of nerve endings in our feet. So this is a great way to start your day. Tapping the soles of the feet. Notice if the room is getting brighter and clearer for you. And then we'll start to back off of that. And then you can extend that leg and shake it out. And then we'll switch. And you can use the fist and use the outside edge of your fist. I kind of like to use the hand. So you decide what you like better. Again, try to make contact with the entire foot, bit by bit. Feel free to linger in certain spots if it feels really good. Breathe as you do this. Maybe a nice cleansing breath or two. And then as you're ready, we can stop and extend and shake out. And let's build a staff pose. Legs extended, toes pointing towards the ceiling to engage the muscles in the legs. Those soften the knees. Make sure you're not locking your knees. Draw your belly in, lift your heart, relax the shoulders. Feel the neck lengthening, the crown of the head reaching for the ceiling as the sits bones root into the floor, the legs, the heels. Just take a nice deep cleansing breath, letting that exhale go with the mouth for emphasis. And let's return to butterfly. Or maybe you'd like to make it more cobbler-like and bring the feet closer in. You decide. Feel free to put blocks under the knees. I'm going to go without the blocks because I'm feeling a little bit more limber and cleansed. And from our butterfly position, we'll go into a forward fold. So spend as much time as you need to reinforce the foundation and the stability of your butterfly pose. And then when you're ready, press into your foundation points and hinge the hips coming forward. Keep the heart lifted, the heart reaching forward as the heart descends down. And take your time. Feel free to stop every now and then and take a few breaths in a resting position. And maybe go a little further. You decide what increments you would like to use to come into your fold. Take your time. And lower your head when you're ready. And once you've lowered the head, spend 5 breaths with that head lowered. Feel free to make 1 or 2 of those more cleansing like by exhaling with the mouth. And continue to connect with your foundation points so that you can let go of tension around those joint areas, particularly the hips and the knees and the shoulders. And when you're ready to come back up, feel free to take a few more breaths here. And go ahead and lift that head up and press into your foundation points, easing your way back. keeping it easier on that back to come up. Take a few breaths here. Hands on the knees. Root into your tripod, the sits bones and the tailbone, and find that lift from your foundation. But relax into that lift. Too much height to your lift might bring tension. And then as you're ready, bring your hands to heart center. And you can repeat the yogic prayer after me or say it with me. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering. And may all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice today. Maybe you feel inclined to do a little bit more spring cleaning and some more flow work. Glad to see you each weekday morning from 10 to 10:30. Alex is here on Sundays for meditation. Again, I'm Jennifer Eubank. I'm here every Tuesday from 10 to 10:30. Please check me out. Come and see me each time. And go look at the archives and check out my website, jennifereubank.com, and Sun and Moon's Yoga Studio, Yoga Studios website. Thank you so much for being here. Got quite a few folks here this morning, so feel free to pipe in. You don't have to if you don't want to. Good to see you all. Love to have you. It's a beautiful day, really nice sunshine out. Hopefully you can go do some cleaning in your yard. Thank you for being here. And have a great week. Take care. Everybody's being shy this morning. You might still be doing some of your yoga. Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. I love that hip leveler. It's one of my favorites, as I said. Really nice way to open up and clear out stagnant hips. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.